I think the dancing body is incredible. It's one of the most beautiful things that anybody can witness, experience, and it's just incredibly inspirational. I think there is so much that people and dancers take for granted about how powerful their bodies are.
I think as dancers, we tend to push ourselves to the limits more than other people in general. I see other students taking advantage of all the other classes and extra opportunities, and it makes me feel like I want to also take those advantages.
If you have all these opportunities, you want to take them, but it's not always the best thing to say yes to everything. But it has taught me when to say no, what my body can handle, and how to approach all of those things in a very professional manner. I've seen growth, but I think that it's very easy to get caught up in the innumerable opportunities that we have here, the innumerable, side projects and undergrad choreographic projects that you can be a part of.
Coming into the department, I wanted to do everything, take as many opportunities as I could, but I also realized that doing that is unrealistic, and you really need to learn how to manage your time, because you're not only dancing, taking technique classes, and performing, but you also have your academic classes on the side. Currently, I am in a show called Bare Bones. I'm in 3 pieces, which is kind of a lot for one show. Each rehearsal per week is about 2 to 4 hours. In addition to that show, I'm also in 2 grad thesis concerts, and those rehearse up to 6 hours a week. And I'm doing an undergraduate thesis concert in May, so those kind of rehearsals add up, and I didn't really realize that at first. I kind of thought oh, I can handle it. And then you start to realize that even though you have time in your day for all those rehearsals, it takes away time from eating and sleeping and doing homework.
The thing that I counsel our students in is learning to say no, which is very hard. I think the mentality with dancers is, you want me in your piece? You want me to do that? Yes, I'll do this, yes, I'll do that. And pretty soon, some of our students, especially the ones that are, newer or younger, they're not quite sure how to manage their time. Before we know it, they're getting very little sleep, they're getting sick, they're geting injured, they're getting frustrated.
I've had a couple injuries while dancing here at UC Irvine. Last year, spring quarter was my first large injury. During a ballet class, I was preparing for a turn, and my knee gave out and buckled underneath me, and I ended up spraining my knee and tearing a ligament. It was very hard to deal with, this injury. Even when you're injured, I feel like I still had that pressure of trying to complete the classes. The faculty is great, and they do recommend you sit out, you ice, and you take notes, but I still felt that own pressure of I wasn't trying hard enough to get back into it, which I've seen in other dancers as well, that it can sometimes lead to people going back to dancing before they're completely healed.
The dancers in general tend to overschedule themselves a little bit, so there is not really any time for recovery when an injury occurs. So a lot of dancers, the first thing they do is just try to dance through it. And when that doesn't work and it becomes obvious that this is a bigger problem, they finally do something about it. So the paradigm is not to necessarily acknowledge the injuries early on, and not to deal with it as quickly as maybe they should, which may result in a easier ability to get over it. But there's very little time in the schedule to allow for any kind of rest or recuperation.
I think that an educated dancer should be able to learn what his or her body needs and can do, what the limits are.
I try to keep my body as healthy as possible. Sometimes I slip a little bit because I just give up a little because I'm tired, but when all is said and done, I really try to eat a very healthy diet. lots of fruits and veggies, protein, and just keeping my diet well-rounded. Every so often I'll splurge here and there, but who doesn't? My goal the past 2 years has to try and get enough sleep to manage through the day, and I'm also taking vitamins on a daily basis, so staying active, healthy diet, and lots of sleep and nutrients. So that's the best I can do with the limited amount of time that I have.
I feel that if anything, it is on the dancer's own level of accountability when it comes to technique, and how much you can actually handle and how much is feasible and effective in your own schedule and in your own life.
When a student comes to me about being overwhelmed with their schedule or how to manage everything that's going on in their academic calendar, I like to help them by saying, do all of it and give 100% of whatever percentage you are that day, physically and not just mentally. It's extreme physical fatigue, and it's important to give 100% of whatever you're doing. If you're only feeling that you can give 50% today, I'm not 100% there, then commit 100% to that 50% of your being, of what you have to offer. Don't skimp out on where you are. Be honest with where you are and push through. Yes, it won't be 100% all the time, but it will be up to you to bring yourself 100% to wherever it is that you are. And that tends to put people at ease, that oh, it's okay that I'm not perfect. I don't have to be a machine. I can be myself and give 100% of that.
There we go.
Throughout this past quarter, I've had a lot of days throughout the week where I spend the whole day on campus. Yesterday, for example, I started classes at 8 a.m. I went straight through 5 p.m. I had ballet, partnering, jazz, technique-wise, and I also had my physics class, my psych class. So I had academics and the dance technique classes combined. And then after that, I had 5 hours of rehearsal for 2 different theses. So I was on campus from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. And this can happen a few times a week for me. Spending your whole day on campus, it takes away from the time that you'd spend doing homework or hanging out with friends. And so it can be difficult managing that along with the academic course load.
I would say that dancers and dance majors really push themselves to the ultimate extremes of their bodies. They are striving to be physically fit, emotionally stable, and mentally aware of everything that is going on around them, especially in such a high academia scenario. You are really pushing your body to the limits, way beyond what anybody else ever expects of you. And I commend people who are able to do it. I'm super proud of the work that I have done specifically to push myself. I've definitely walked the very fine line of burning out, and it's kind of scary at times, but when all is said and done, pushing myself to my extreme limits and other people pushing themselves to their extreme limits only makes them grow stronger. And we're learning to really understand what we can and cannot do within this world and within ourselves. And I think that's really important to learn, especially in an undergraduate or an academia university scenario where it is a safe place that you can push yourself to those extra limits and still have time to recover.
Along with the physical stress that's placed on me due to this hectic schedule with the dance department and the biology degree, there's also an emotional and a mental stress that takes place due to all of this. I do find, however, that sometimes the technique classes help me emotionally and mentally because I'm able to just forget about the stress of my academic classes and focus on my own growth.
I'm surviving, I'm making it happen, and I'm gonna graduate, and I'm super excited about it. So it's just the goal at the end of the day. It's the goal that I'm focused on, and being proud of that, understanding that I've worked this hard to get to that position. So of course I'm gonna celebrate and be overjoyed when I get there. I just have to get there.
Art is everywhere, you know, especially for dancers. It's incredibly open what we can do with our body. You know, the possibilities are limitless.